Oh yeah, let's go. Two fat Filipinos, two fat Filipinos talking in the house. We two fat Filipinos that you can't deny. Let's talk for a while, baby, give it a try. Listen in and check out what we have to say. Y'all know this, we just be doing this our way. Come chill with us tonight. Ain't got nothing else going on. That's right.
What is up, everyone? It is your boy, Crispy Papa, back here once again with,
Papa Bear.
and we are two fast Filipinos talking about nothing. Welcome
Yes.
back to the Crispy Papa Bear Show. So, for today, we are going to talk about, get ready, the training itself. What do I mean by
Oh.
that? What do I mean by that? So, in the BPO world, in the call center world, where we spent most of our adult lives, uh, there is a training that you undergo before you get sent to the phones. It's necessary because what are you going to tell your customer if you don't know anything about the account, the product, or English, right? So we here at the Crispy Papa Bear Show would love for everyone to know our opinions and our observations on who are these trainees that we are either a part of or training. So, with me and Papa Bear's pedigree or experience, we were both trainees at one point, of course, and we were also both trainers at one point. So, uh, having said all of that, I want to talk about the kinds of trainees in these settings. Papa Bear, before we start, I would like to thank a few sponsors.
All right.
Uh, I'd like to thank, 1 minute.
He's actually checking his headset.
I am, because my Jabra headset is not working. So, I would like to thank Logitech headset for saving my behind during this session because without this spare headsets, I don't know if we can record. So, thank you very much. I would also like to thank, uh, again, Bear Mark. Shout out to you guys. Let me know. It's been a week. Can we, move it along? If you know, you know. If you don't know, don't worry about it. Papa Bear, do
Yeah,
you have any
I
sponsors?
think there's only a handful of people who actually know what you're talking about. Okay, so
Good.
yes, I do have a couple of sponsors. First of all, I just want to mention our last episode, episode 4, was about the training experience. So today, I think from the topic itself, we're going to talk about the trainee experience.
Trainees.
So
Not
that's actually
exactly the trainee experience, but the trainees themselves.
the
Uh,
trainees. Okay,
yes. Be-
the trainees of the
Yes.
trainees.
The
Period.
type,
Okay,
the
that's
type
actually
of
cool because
people.
even though it does have something to do with the training experience, it is a completely different topic.
Absolutely.
So
So, uh,
that's wonderful. And
originally,
I think what Kushi Papa mentioned is that when we actually take turns coming up with the topic, and I didn't know about this until like he started recording this shit,
like
right?
literally when I announced it.
Yeah, so there. So my sponsors for today, first of all, I'd like to thank Dato Puti because my girlfriend actually cooked up some really good cutlets, last week, and she used Dato Puti to enhance the flavor. And she did cook a cup lumpia earlier, and it was decent. It was seasoned with a little bit of Dato Puti soy sauce and Dato Puti vinegar. All right. And my other sponsor, I'd like to thank Axe for their products. This is Axe Gold. Okay. I'm going to put some on it right now. So, ladies,
Dude,
it's actually a good thing that, this is recorded and this is over like the screen because if you were here, I would be irresistible and I probably wouldn't get any work done because I'd be knee deep in the
stuff.
loving. So yes, I'd also like to mention that even though I love Axe and its products, I really do not believe in their logo, or not their logo, but their motto that first impressions last, because first impressions for me doesn't really last. It's usually the third, fourth, or fifth that gets me, you
Or
know.
the last.
Or maybe the last, yes.
Yeah,
The last
yeah.
impressions last. Yeah. Not the
And
first.
and uh I like to segue that first impressions, second impressions, third impressions, last impressions into our topic. You see that I did there?
I know, because if you're talking about trainees, hell the fuck yeah, it does apply.
It really does. Like
Yes.
originally, I wanted to make this episode or this topic for job hoppers and job hoppers only. If you
Ah,
don't know what
yes.
a hopper is, this is a person that switches jobs after training. We can even call them training specialists because after training,
I do have a lot of stories to tell you about that,
exactly,
you know, and I'm pretty sure
exactly.
you do have too. But before we go into that entire matter, I'd also like to make to segue first into a couple of into one specific correction from the last episode, because during the last episode, during the fat breaker question, but my top 7 women, I'd like to mention that it was not Hazel Espinosa, but rather it was Hazel Cabrera.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
Hazel Espinosa was a sexy star in the early 2000s, late 90s, right?
I'm not sure if Hazel Espinosa was a sexy star. I just know
I
that
think
it
so.
was not. I just know that it was Hazel Cabrera who was in the Viva Hot Babes.
Okay,
I found out
okay.
because I checked out some of their videos on YouTube again, and I was mistaken. Okay, and just to mention, I've also released the MTV version of Starry Eyes starring Katya Santos. I'll be posting the link here. All right, so if you like it, well then, hit me up. I'll write a song for you, your girlfriend, and you
Your
decide
dog.
on the price. Shameless plug. I still don't have a
Yes,
fucking job.
yeah. I mean, this is not shameless plug. This is just plug. Shame doesn't really exist here. Who cares?
Shameless. Yes.
So, uh, going back to our topic, uh,
Yes.
I originally thought this is just for job hoppers and blah blah blah, but I kind of thought like, why not involve everybody? Because we're inclusive here.
It
Uh,
is. Yes.
so, uh, let me start with you, man. What are the types, or give me one type of trainee that you have handled, or the
Um.
most common,
Sorry.
the most common type of trainee that you have handled? It doesn't have to follow the box, the amiable thingy, whatever that thing is called. You can just like name somebody. Like if I was your trainee, then this is the giant asshole.
Okay. Um.
It- Things like that.
It's very easy to come up with. It's very easy to tell you about specific trainees, but allow me to generalize first. All right. When I'm training, especially when I'm training language and soft skills, generally, what I get are trainees upon their first day. Papa Bear, you're so nosebleed. I get that almost at the start of every training, and they don't like it when I enforce the English only policy, because if you do not speak English, or if I hear you speak a word of Filipino and while in the training room, you're gonna get a truth or dare. I implement that to make it a fun rule to follow. Okay, and then outside of the training room, I see them sometimes. Papa Bear, you're so you're we're no we're, our noses are bleeding because of you. All right, so I'll tell you this, and I think I've told you this before, brother. I really dislike that term. I really hate it when my trainees come to me and say our noses are bleeding.
No, I
And
haven't
I
heard
tell
that.
them, yeah, I tell them, unless your nose is really bleeding, don't ever fucking tell me that. Do you know why? Because I know it's a joke. I know it's a self-deprecating joke, but I take it into heart. You know why? Because your noses are bleeding because somebody is speaking in English. You can speak English just fine, and I'm pretty sure you can understand me just fine. To tell me that your noses are bleeding from the amount of English that we're using is you're just putting yourselves down. I tell all my trainees that I don't like hearing it because it makes you sound stupid, or it makes you sound as if you're having a hard time adapting. You're already in a call center. You've already been deemed worthy, or you've already been deemed skillful enough to actually work in a place where you can speak English all the time. I lecture them on that because I really effing hate that term. Our noses are bleeding, or nosebleed section, or nosebleed. Okay, you're not. Don't ever come up to me unless somebody punched you in the face and said, "Oh," and say that, "Oh, my nose is actually bleeding." Don't ever mention that to me again. I dislike it. I hate it. Don't use that on yourselves.
Can
Okay,
we call that a pet peeve of yours?
that is a humongous pet peeve for me. If you tell
Okay.
me your noses are bleeding, I'm immediately either gonna dislike you or I'm gonna really be hard on you because I don't want you to ever use that again. I don't want you to essentially say I'm stupid or I'm having a hard time understanding English. I don't ever want you to say that.
Yeah, like how the
I've
hell is,
yeah,
how did you get past recruitment final interview if your noses are bleeding just because somebody is speaking in English?
exactly. And that's the thing, right? Maybe it's because when they come to English training or language training, with either me or some of my English coaches, maybe they were not exposed to a level or at least uh, an environment that's purely made up of people that literally do not speak Filipino. So that may be one thing, but that's still not an excuse. And that's my general perception of specific trainees.
I
All
think we
right.
can call those nose bleeders.
Oh yeah, the nose beaters. That's actually a good term, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
call
yeah.
them the nose beaters, the ones who complain about their noses bleeding. But believe it or not, a lot of them actually stop saying that, or a lot of them actually end up end up being better agents, and they end up being better than who they were at the start. They end up actually getting they end up climbing the ladder for the most part.
And
Not all, some,
yeah,
because they were actually humble enough to take in what I said and really put it to heart. For those who didn't put it to heart, oh well, then I'm pretty sure they're out there somewhere. I don't know where they are, but hopefully, they're okay.
if I was your trainee, and you told me that, I would keep saying it just to piss you off. Uh, and and you can't do shit to me because I'm just as good as you are, right? Even if you,
That's the fucking conundrum. If you're just as good as I am, you know, I'm actually gonna see past I'm gonna see through that. You're actually saying it just to piss me off,
yeah,
and I'm pretty sure you're gonna be saying it sarcastically.
oh
And
yeah,
and instead of hating you, I'll probably actually start liking you because you're an asshole with the mind. All right, which means that we're more similar
yeah,
than you would
I
think. So we're
understand. Yeah,
probably gonna get along if you're just gonna start pissing me off just by saying that.
yeah.
So,
I'm because I like pushing trainers. Or well, after my first training experience, after my first job. Because in my first job, I was like the perfect student, because of
uh
course I should be. I don't know shit. But afterwards, especially later on in my journey,
okay.
I I uh, I don't want to say that I'm like I have an attitude problem. I just like pushing buttons and seeing where their limits are. Just
I don't think that's an attitude problem. I think that's just a personality, an affectation, or a quirk that you like to see people's reactions towards the things that you're saying. I don't think it's an attitude. I
well,
think it's a quirk.
I say it's an attitude because I developed that later in my career,
Okay.
just to piss people off and know where their boundaries are, and know if because um, I'm very sad to say that I am a bully, but
Okay.
I am no longer a physical bully. Like I won't toss you in your locker and
Okay.
dunk your dunk your head in the toilet bowl type of bully. But I was a bully. I was not proud of it. Very sorry about that, especially to those people that I have bullied before. However, uh, it's still in me. I can't help but be an asshole. So I guess that's another type of trainee that we can, categorize it. People that are
The
assholes.
asshole trainee.
However, if you're gonna be an asshole, you must have a brain. Because if you don't have a brain, you're not an asshole. You're just
What, a dick?
a nuisance, like a nuisance.
A nuisance, you mean? A
Yeah,
nuisance.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's okay if you, especially when I was training, there are people who tries to push my buttons, and then I, just like you, give them a hard time or a harder time than most. Because if you're gonna be an asshole, then you have to prove to me that you can be an asset to my team, eventually, an asset to the company, and just not a headache. And if you're not, then I'm gonna make your life hell,
That
and I
actually,
can't do
you
that.
know what? I'm sorry to say this, but you actually make a lot of sense. Because if you're an ass, you can be an asshole, but then again, you should also be an asset,
Yes,
right?
I like that. Oh
So if
my
you can,
god!
so if you're just an ass and an asshole, but not an asset, what's that?
Why are you here? How'd you
Yeah.
get past through the interviews? We need to get a calibration on the behavioral interviews and whatever.
In order to be an ass, you actually have to be an ass. You can be an asshole, but you must be. So you actually have to be an asset.
And another one
What?
are the posers, those people that are trying to be cool, trying to be an asshole, but it's not really their personality. Like
Mm,
I can see through that bullshit immediately. Because if you're like fake tough or fake smart ass, like, oh, I'm not gonna call you out on it, but I am gonna make pointed remarks about you not being authentically yourself. Because as much as I like people to, behave a certain way just to make my life easier as a trainer, I also want them to be themselves, because that will be an asset to them when they start taking calls.
that's actually good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So why don't you
I do
start with
that.
that? Why don't you tell me something about I know you have. I obviously have. Why don't you tell me about an asshole trainee or an ass trainee that may have also been an asset? And maybe you can tell me something in
Oh my
between
god,
how
there's a
they
lot.
were not, or maybe if they can't be an asset, tell me how they were, assess and assholes.
So I'll tell you the asset first.
Okay.
I was
That'll
not
be good.
I was not the trainer at this point. This is back in 2013 for a company that was acquired by another company.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I'm not gonna say his name because, of course, not. But he is a registered nurse. Uh, and he is what you would call today a fuckboy.
A what?
A fuckboy.
Okay.
So this
Registered
dude.
nurse actually makes sense.
So this dude uh comes up with the stupidest remarks ever, misogynistic. It is a wonder how nobody has ever filed a case against this guy.
Oh my god.
He does have a lot of personality. He does have a lot of charisma. So everybody kind of thinks like, oh, he's just joking. Oh, that's just him being him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it is a wonder how this guy is not in jail. It really is. He never, as far as I know, he never touches anyone inappropriately. He has, however, commented on a lot of body parts, either within the circle of friends or when drinking. Again,
But
this
not
happened.
during training.
Oh, there is during training,
What?
but there is still during training, but it's dialed down a bit,
Okay. I'm glad though.
especially with the trainer, because the trainer is good looking as well.
Okay.
And the trainer did say she was open to, jokes that are of the green shade. So that kind of gave this guy the green light
Oh
to
wow.
do green jokes. So yeah, it's amazing. He is now the last time I saw him, I think it's 2022, 2023. He looks like he's a team leader in
Mm,
a call center in Muñoz, Quezon City.
okay.
So it starts with a V.
Looks
Uh,
like looks like a team leader.
no, he kind of does because I was driving at that time, and as usual in EDSA, it is there's a traffic jam as usual, and I saw him outside smoking in the smoking area of the building, and he's kind of like holding court, and even if I like pull my window down or pull the passenger window down, I can hear his voice because he talks really loud.
Okay.
And I did hear him saying team stats, attrition, things like that. So it is again, it is a wonder somebody promoted this guy. Well, I guess it's not a wonder because he is really good at what he does.
Well, maybe he did change his attitude a little bit.
He may have, I don't know, but definitely in terms of like the training itself, I don't want to say he's like the top agent, the top trainee, uh, because that was me. But uh, yeah, he was good. He was good at what he does, and as you can tell, he's very good at talking to customers, getting them sales, getting those NPS, so and CSATs at that time. So yeah, that's an example of a good or an
Mm,
asset. Now let's go to an asshole. Um, hold on. So I again am not the trainee or I'm trainer for this one because during my training career I have been fortunate to have like normal boring ones except the ones I'll talk about later, the
okay.
hoppers. So um this asshole is he's one of those guys that are always asleep at the back of the training room. Um and when he does wake up, he is he asks stupid questions that has absolutely nothing to do with the topic. He
Okay.
just does it because he wants to take a break already. Like it's 30 minutes before break. Let's not talk about product anymore. I'll just ask a stupid question.
Okay.
And funnily enough, this happened in the same training that the other one was in. So they are in like separate cliques, if you will. But yeah, this guy didn't last. Uh, the first major exam we had, he did not pass because how can he pass? He's always asleep. So after 2 weeks, this guy was terminated
Okay.
because he's not an asset.
I get it, man.
Just an ass hat.
It's an ass hat. Okay.
How about you? Do you have of course I'm sure you do like an ass set and an ass hat.
Okay. Yes, I have an asset. Uh, I was actually training I actually trained this individual, and but mind you, this is not agent training. This was actually somebody that we promoted to an English coach apprentice who eventually became an English coach. All right. He was an asset, but he was a bit of a dick. All right. And because he was
I have a
wildly
name.
what?
Does it start with a K?
Oh, yes, it does. I think yeah,
Are
I
you?
told you about him.
Are
You know him.
are we thinking about the same person? I have
Yes.
drank with this person several times, and I hate his face so much. I wanna punch him. But yes, go ahead.
Don't. All right. We're thinking of the same person, and I know for a fact that we're thinking about the same person. All right. I am saying that he was an asset because he was really good at his job. He was he was a brilliant speaker. He was always high energy, high octane, dynamic. All right. I'd say that he was very tenacious. He was always ready to help. He was just a great guy to be around, you know. However, there's a
No,
huge
he is
however.
not. He is not a great guy to be around. He
However,
is a
no, no, no.
great guy to be
I'm talking
trained
about.
by.
Relax. I'm talking about in the office. All right.
Still, well, I don't
No,
know.
no.
I don't know. I don't know.
I was with him in the office. He's just a great guy. When I asked him to do something, he'd be there 110%. I'm saying this, and I'm saying a huge but or however after this, he was a bit of it was a bit of a show off, and that was my
A
biggest
bit,
issue
a
against
bit,
him. Huh? Huh?
a bit.
A lot.
Uh,
Okay,
thank you.
fine, a lot. It was something that I could get past that. I can get past it because at work, awesome. All right, but I do not want to hang out with him afterward. I do not want to see him afterward because he'd be so loud. It's just ov-
Obnoxiously loud.
overwhelmingly obnoxious at
And
times.
we almost got into like several fights because of this mother trucker.
Okay.
And if we did end up, throwing hands with other tables, I am leaving his ass. I'm not gonna be there backing him up. I might join the other table in kicking his ass. That's how much of an
Okay.
ass this guy is.
So
Yeah,
yes, I so there you go. You know for a fact that this guy was an asset, but also an ass hat. Yeah, I can call him an asshole. All right, and the reason why I can call him an asshole is because it takes one to know one. And I'll tell you this lesson that I learned from him. All right, I actually learned this from him. Why did I do that? Because I was exactly like him when I was starting out as an English coach. I was exactly like him. I was a bit of a show off. I had a huge head. I would try to regale my trainees with the different accents that I can use every time we're doing mock calls. I would pretend to be Scottish, Chinese, New Yorker, Mexican, Hispanic, French. I would use different accents. And he actually knew how to do that too. That's why I thought he was a good asset. However, there was one instance where we were introduced to a class that we were going to train the week after, and we were going to introduce ourselves. It was only supposed to be 10 minutes, but we ended up staying there 5 minutes because he was talking for 15 minutes, and he was talking about himself, and he was talking about all the great accents that he can use. He was trying to switch from one accent to another, and I was like, God, I'm better than this guy. And when I actually thought about that, I'm better than this guy at those things. I actually started thinking, God, I'm fucking worse than this guy because this is exactly who I was. This is exactly how I sounded like, and this is exactly the type of person that I'd never wanted to be. And believe it or not, after that very specific session, after that, after that day, I never, I when and whenever I would go to an introduction, like we're gonna train a class next week. Hey, we're gonna introduce ourselves. The only thing that I would say is, "Hi, I'm Leandro Manuel Cientazo. You can call me Papa Bear. I'm the English specialist, and I'll see you next week." That's the only thing I would say. All right, because if I started talking about myself, God, man, I just pictured him in my head, and I was like, I don't want to be that guy. So in essence, his being an asshole actually gave me credence to start practicing humility
there you
because I
go.
was exactly like him,
That was
you know.
something.
And I will be thank. I will say this: I'm thankful to him because I ended up seeing that part of myself that I was probably a bigger asshole than he was, you know. And I was humbled. He humbled me without having to humble me. That's
He
So
humbled you.
that's my experience of an asshole who was a big asset, and also a big
Let's hear about the
ass.
ass hat.
Yeah. The ass hat. This was not me. This was not me training a person. This was me observing product training, and a credit card account back in Sykes. This guy was like, uh, this guy graduated from I think another school that's related to my school. Uh, a school
Just
in Taft
CSB.
Avenue. Yeah,
CSB.
fine. Just say CSB. Yeah. He was very good. His English was like spot on. I mean, his accent was a little better than mine. You know,
Isn't that the reputation of that school anyway?
it's a reputation of my school too. So
Is it?
yeah,
I mean,
and it's a
you
reputation of another
you
school in
Katipunan,
Katipunan. So
man,
anyway,
you guys, those blues and those greens, you guys suck. And here we are in STI, just being model citizens and poor.
so I
Yeah.
can't be a model citizen and still be green in the head.
Well, you can, but you guys are still assholes.
Well, you can say that we suck, but I can also say that you guys don't exactly suck. You know why? Because we may suck, but you guys are doing all the blowing. Blow me. Fuck
Well,
you.
STIers are poor.
Can I
Not a
get to
lot
my
of us.
can I get to my
Oh,
story before you
go
did
ahead.
that
I'm
segue,
sorry. I'm sorry.
motherfucker?
I'm sorry. I
I
apologize.
I will admit to sucking a little bit, but I'll admit for you to say that we suck, you actually blow. All
Don't
right.
swallow. Don't
Okay.
swallow.
Anyway, fuck that. And I thought you were
What the
humbler than
fuck
I
are we
was.
doing?
Anyway, so okay, so this guy,
Bro, I'm
he,
humble? What the hell?
I said I thought,
You thought
obviously
the
not.
thought.
Okay, so this guy would come in sleepy, all right, and he would be like, I would notice him sleeping, and I was only observing. I would notice him sleeping. I would poke him, and he would just look at me and say, "Oh, sorry, had a, didn't have time, or whatever." He would make excuses like, my wife was up all day with baby, something. He said his wife was kept him awake all day with the baby, and but I remember that during one of the sessions he said that he has a girlfriend and he wants to have a family soon. Then he starts, I don't know, lying or maybe saying part, I don't know. I caught him in a Freudian slip maybe. So anyway, we did we there was this product trainer and I was watching her. It was like I was there for 2 weeks. All right. And it was very simple. All you had to do in order to get into the mock system was provide the name and account number. And that was it. And then you can give all the specific information that the us as a mock caller would need for you to give us. All right. I observed this guy with the product trainer do a mock call, and he could not get past the authentication page. All right. He did not know what to do. I mean, he did not even know. The only thing that he got right was the opening. Thank you for calling, yada yada. This is yada yada. How may I help you? Okay, and he said I just want to know the I just want to know the balance. All right. And he said, okay, not a problem. Can I put you on hold? Mock hold or whatever. And and there's a help tab, okay, in that computer. He wouldn't look at it. He would just stare at the effing screen. He didn't even have a notebook. All right. Unlike everybody else who was already taking notes. All right. And may I have your name, please? Okay. All right. And okay. And then he finally got it. He asked for the account number. Um, but the product trainer actually gave him an incorrect account number. All right. And he couldn't pull it up. For 5 minutes, he couldn't pull it up. He couldn't even get past the fact that um he couldn't even give like the direction to the mock caller or the customer rather that's not pulling up. Could you read it again, please? He didn't even do that. Okay, he just kept typing the same numbers and he just kept making a mistake, over and over again. And after like 15 minutes, it was like, God, okay, he couldn't even get past the very first page. All right. And afterwards, when we were deliberating, I asked the product trainer, you're going to fail this guy, right? Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, he's actually a good speaker. All right. He can carry himself well, but he's dumb. He doesn't work hard. He thinks he may have talent, but no, we're not passing this dude. All right. And there were people there who couldn't who couldn't deliver in terms of the language requirements as good as he can, but they were smart, they were hardworking. He was just laying around. This is like me saying he had the talent he had the talent but no brains. Okay, it's like saying it's like BJ Penn, during his dying days. I mean, we all knew he had talent, but talent can't get you anywhere without hard work, you know. So it's like, damn. All right. That was just a bad time. I was like, man, this guy's an asshole. All right. And he was let go from the training the very next week. He did the product trainer told him that, yeah, sorry, you can't, sorry, we're letting you go. Okay, he didn't make it. All right. And I hope he's doing well whatever wherever he is, but you know, that was just so bad, man. That's why I'll be one of the people to tell you that hard work, beats talent when talent decides to take a day off. He was just an asshole. He was just a
There you go.
gifted speaker, but that's it.
There you go. I agree that talent uh is it can get you through the door, right? If you have talent, you can pass any interviews. However, once you're in the training, talent can only get you so far.
Mm,
You don't need to work hard. You don't. You just have to work smart. Just have to comply. Just have to listen. And sometimes that's hard for people to do. And that's just, fact of life.
there you
And
go.
this is where I want to switch to another group of trainees, or another
Okay.
type of trainees. Um, what happened to those that are not exactly gifted when it comes to speaking, and their talent is not, on par with somebody somebody else.
Okay.
Um, however, they work hard. Like they're pretty good. And those that has absolutely nothing, like speaking, if um, attention to detail, iffy, and then not hardworking or working smart. What happened to them?
Not
Why don't
hardworking
you?
or not working smart.
Yeah, not hardworking and not working smart.
Okay.
Just accidentally got through the door for some reason. Why don't you tell me something like a trainee that's like that, like somebody um,
Okay.
that's good or that's not very good in speaking or in talent, but works hard, and the one that does not work hard.
I've had several of those trainees,
I'm
and
sure.
those are the highlights of my years in psychs. And I'll take a chance, and I'm gonna name one of them, possibly two. Okay. First of all,
Are you
I
sure?
remember. Fine. I probably won't. Anyway,
Don't name.
I'm gonna give you two examples who literally had the same who literally went through the same experience. All right. They were both in a program where they actually were put into a language course before being given a job offer, right? Because
A
one way or
pre-hire.
another, they went to the interview. They
Yeah.
said, you know what, this guy does not fit the language requirements, but we can put you in a program where our English team, led by Papa Bear, okay, will take you through a 2 week training. If you pass the 2 week training, we're going to give you a job offer. All right. So I know two individuals like that. I'm not going to name their names anymore. Okay. But I know one, and he's tall, he's lanky, he wears glasses. You don't know him, but from this description, I think you may already know who I'm referring to. He was a very down to earth guy. He always worked hard. When he passed the training, I was so proud that he became an agent. He became a QA, and he eventually became a team leader. And I think right now he's an account manager. Man, that was a wonderful rise. He's actually one of the people that I look up to because he had ambition. He wanted to. He actually did he worked on himself so hard that it seriously paid off. And then there's another one. Okay, there's another one. This one is a female. All right. I'm pretty sure she'll know who she is when I talk about her. She went through the exact same program. Her language skills weren't that good. All right. Um, so she went through the same program and she became an agent. Okay. And one thing I can tell you, even from the start, she's very pretty and very beautiful. All right. She used to work at a convenience store that was owned by her parents. She was a cashier, right? But she had this charisma, this style, this grace. You know, she dressed really well, but she wasn't flashy. All right. And then she went on to become an agent. I think she went on to become a team leader. And I know for a fact that I know a QA. I'm not even sure if she became a team leader, but I know that right now she's like a manager, or she's holding like some really high position at a call center, and she's like 10 times more beautiful now than she was 10 plus years ago. I mean, she just grew into a beautiful swan. I'm not saying she was an ugly duckling at first, but she was already pretty then. She just, everything just went up for her, man. In terms of her career, in terms of her growth, she's a lot classier now. She's still very beautiful. I hold her in such high regard because she worked really hard. you know um I'm not sure if she took certain classes. I heard that she did. If she did, that's wonderful. But those are like some of the success stories that I can tell you right now. That for those people who work really hard, they go up, and then I'm just, man, that's my achievement. That's how proud I am, bro. I don't care about any awards that I get. I don't give a crap about that. I'm just happy that they are where they are now. And if I had like a small role to play in, how in how they became better as people and as workers, I mean, that's the biggest award, or that's the biggest blessing that I could ever have, helping others, or at least helping them. So yeah, it's very touching.
How about
On to the
there? You go.
opposite of what you said.
Love that. Love that.
Okay. I don't give a shit. I don't know where the fuck they are. I cannot. I can I can probably tell you a few. Okay, but quite frankly, no. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about that, because talking about that just makes me sick to my stomach. But if you really want to know, I'll give you one. Okay, no names. All right, this dude comes in um from another account. I was training them. This dude is like, okay, he's good looking, all right. But when I talked to him, I was wondering why you weren't. I was talking to him, why you're here. Why are you in this specific account when your language requirements are specifically below the par that we set? Okay. Not that he didn't work at it, but he just didn't care. All right. And in the end, I just didn't care enough, because he wasn't showing a lot of gusto. He wasn't doing anything much. Didn't care at all. All right. In the end, he didn't make it past the training. All right. And here's the thing, bro. Um, I'll tell you this: if you're not putting in the work, if you're not putting in any of the effort that's needed, uh, I'm happy to say that, at least for Sykes back then, if you're not showing any of that, you will not get it past training. At least that's one thing they got right, because we're not about to put you in a seat and screw ourselves in the face. At least that's not. I'm going to say this. That's what they got right for the accounts that I was a part of. All right, because I know that there were a lot worse agents for some of this lines of businesses that I was not a part of, that they did so without me. At least in my experience where I was a part of it, if you didn't make it through training, well, you will not get to the floor if you don't do work in training. So yeah, that's it. I don't give a shit. Oh, what the fuck? Maybe you
Uh,
can tell me about your experience about both sides too.
would love to. So, I was in this job back in 2019, and then we hired somebody. Like, well, she's technically the third hire. Uh, at least here in the Philippines, I was number one. Like I was the first one. Then we hired a second person that was gone immediately, and then this lady comes in. She hasn't had well, she does have BPO call center experience, but
Okay.
not in the last 5 years. At that point, she stopped working in call centers and became an accountant, if I'm not mistaken, or something
Ooh.
in the finance field. And then the company folded, the- and then she came back to the BPO slash call center industry because specifically to this company because it's work from home.
Okay.
So, uh,
Understandable.
yeah. So her English is no longer up to par. Um, she admitted that her skills are rusty, and it was. It's very rusty. However, she did work hard, and she worked so hard that she was eventually the one who replaced me when I left.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if she's still there. I think she is, but I was confident. I told you about this when I revealed that I was overemployed at one point.
Yeah, I
Um,
think you mentioned that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's her. Not exactly up to par with what we're looking for, but she was hardworking and she was willing to learn. Like everything that I went through, she loved learning how I went through the things that I went through in the company
Okay.
and how I achieved what we achieved. And yeah, I was very proud of her, and I was really happy that she was the one that's chosen to
Sweet.
replace me when I left. Uh, I was gonna ask the company to have her as my replacement, but the company did say that, oh, she's gonna replace you when you leave. Cool.
Oh, okay.
So
So they
uh,
beat you to it.
yeah, they did beat me to it. So and when I uh, when I left full time employment, uh, she was instilled as my predecessor or my successor. Uh,
Successor.
and then when I came back, literally 3 weeks later, as a contractor, no longer full time, she was now my boss.
She was what?
She's now my boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because she's leading the whole thing in the operations. I was leading it before, and then she came in and she led the whole thing. And I was in that position for a year and a half. Well, a year and 3 months. And she was nice. She did leave for a few months, maternity leave. Um, but well, when she came back, I was on the way out, so we didn't really have a lot of
Okay.
interactions. However, in her first few weeks, or at least in my first few weeks since I returned, she was inundating me with questions and asking for advice and tips on how to solve problem X, Y, and Z. And I love that because how are you going to learn if you're not going to ask questions, right? So I was happy to answer them. I was happy to take her phone calls during my break. Or if I'm not really doing anything, I'll tell her like I have a 15-minute window, give me a call. Things like that. So I was very proud of her achievement. And then I'd like to switch to the opposite.
Yes,
This
please.
happened several years ago, more than a decade ago. So we were partner up a buddy system, somebody with experience, myself, and then this lady that has no experience. Great. Let's talk. Let me help you during mock calls and whatnot because I'm pretty confident that I'll be fine. And this lady, um, she's a single mother, a recent single mother. Like she literally just gave birth like 3 or 4 months before the start of the training. Um, and this is her first time working at all. Like out of college, she got pregnant with their first child, and then this is her second child, and now she has to work because whatever. Not my business, and don't really care. Now, this is the part where I care. She is new, right? Like she has absolutely no clue how the call center business works. She doesn't smoke. I do. So when we have our smoke breaks, I go down to smoke and I tell her to, read up on XYZ because we're gonna do the mock call after I come back. This lady, instead of studying, instead of trying to absorb as much as she can, she decides to instead hang out with other
Okay.
tenured people or people with experience.
All right.
And these people are, they're pretty good at what they do, and they are also confident that they are gonna pass. And then this lady just started hanging out with them, and didn't want to hang out with me anymore because when we are hanging out, we are always talking about her passing the mock calls because
Okay. So we're trying to help
that's
her out, but she
yeah,
decided to hang out with other
yeah,
tenured people
yeah, and
or
they're just
people with
gossiping.
experience.
Yeah, they're literally gossiping about celebrities, about people that are in our wave,
Oh,
like
okay.
that kind of people. Yeah,
Because at the back
that
of my head, when I heard that she was hanging out with like those people who were already experienced, um, I would suddenly I would the first thing that I would think of, oh, maybe she wants to learn from them. So they were
yeah,
just
that would have
goofing
been
off.
fine. Oh, they were just goofing off. I mean,
Okay.
they would have been fine. It would have been fine with me if she didn't like the style that I was presenting to her. But she literally just wanted to chit chat. And when I said, "Hey, do you want to work on this?" Here's what she said: "Nah, I'm good. I think I get it."
Okay. Yeah, you do.
Like, girl, girl. And this is like a day before the final mock call. And I said,
Mhm.
"Okay, you're good. Chill." So I hung out with a few other people. So we didn't talk anymore. And then come the uh mock call day. I always volunteer to be the first one because I don't really want to wait and wait and wait. So I did my mock call and I did fine. I passed. And then several hours later, towards the end of the day, it's her turn. And during the whole day, she did not approach me and ask for any help. She approached other people and they gossiped again. And then what happened? Guess what happened?
Everybody passed except for her.
Except for her. Boom. And literally, uh, the end of the day, because these are just newbies, right? We are like 3, 4 weeks into the start of our careers there. And then the trainer had to let us know that, hey, XYZ is not uh gonna continue. And I was expecting that 100%. And the people that I did hang out with, I was also expecting that 100%. Because I was frustrated. I'm willing to help her. Excuse me. I'm not gonna spoon feed her anything, because how is she gonna learn? But she just prefers not to, and that's sad because of her situation. Like, how the hell are you gonna feed your kids? You can't feed them gossip. Like, that's literally all they do. And as you know, trainers have other things to do. So when it's mock all day, you get left alone in the room most of the time. And
Mhm.
then, instead of studying or at least sleeping, because that was nighttime, no, she actively chose to uh gossip and lollygag, for lack of a better term. And she paid the price. I was happy
Okay.
that she paid the price
All
because
right.
you can get through the door, but you ain't getting on the phones if you're like that. So that's my story.
All right. It's
I
nice.
wanna I wanna move on to a
Okay.
topic that's my favorite. This is kind of like the last topic, unless you have another
Oh, I may
For
bring something up because this is a very interesting take.
I
You
know.
know, it's giving us most of the things that we talk about are actually simply put nostalgia. You know,
Yeah.
nostalgia, and
Hey,
it's always fun to talk about experiences because even though we did not share those experiences together, it's quite similar. So yeah, please continue.
yeah, the call center world, especially in the early 2000s and late 2000s, early 2010s, it's very small, but it's funny that we never ran into each other until
Oh,
2021. It's funny. However, before I get into my last topic, fat breaker time.
it's a
Fat
fuck.
breaker, breaker,
Oh,
breaker.
what a time to pull in the
Sharon.
fat breaker. Okay, fat
I mean,
breaker. Ta-da! It's
yeah,
time. Go ahead.
this is uh, because this lady inspired me to come up with this fat breaker.
Lady.
Yeah, I mean the one I was talking about, the one that failed.
Okay.
So I, since you are or you were an employee of whatever, I'll just say the name because you keep saying it. Since you were a
Yeah.
long time employee of Sykes,
Yeah.
I'm
They're
sure
no longer
you.
here anyway, so that's fine. Go ahead.
That's true. Uh, you have been around their sites, right? You've been to their Mandaluyong site, several Makati sites, or whatever else
Yeah.
sites. What is this site that is infamous, infamous for having a sleeping quarter that people keeps getting caught having sex? There's literally just one.
Oh, I'll tell you this. I never really caught any. All right. I never experienced anybody. I've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure because it sometimes stank and I smelled it
Okay,
a couple of times. I smelled the sex in the room and it was a big ass breaker. I'm pretty sure you're talking about WCC.
I am talking about WCC.
Yeah.
Uh, how did I end up knowing that without ever being employed by Sykes? In WCC, there was a stall, a food stall, that I keep going back to, even though I was never an employee there. I was just there, literally drinking. And I forgot the name of the bar that's like right in the front, uh, like right above the staircase to acquire. I forgot what it's called, but we were drinking there one time, and then drinking is over. We got hungry. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's really hot. I'm like drunk as hell. So we went inside, and then there's this small food stall. It's called uh chicken something. I forgot.
Okay.
So it's really good and it's really cheap.
Okay.
75 pesos. You get a piece of chicken, boneless fillet.
Oh yeah, chicken fillet, and then there's you can choose the pasta,
You can choose pasta. You can choose
rice, and potatoes.
rice, potato, mashed potato, or
Or
corn and carrots.
yeah, I remember that. That's actually a
I know,
very nice stall. I
I
love the
know,
food there.
I know. So imagine my heartbreak when I can't find them anymore. However, going back, so I was there, and then the people that are from Sykes in that area, in that site, they keep talking about somebody else got busted, blah 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 blah. So it got me thinking, how many times did people get caught? Because I heard at least three. I heard at least three. Two are same sex encounters, and one is a boy girl encounter. Like, how big do your balls have to be to do that? It has to be a kink, right? It has to be a kink. You're not just you're not just exposing or like betting your job on it. You may get actually sued for indecent exposure or something like that.
I honestly do not know. I do not know if I do not know how many times people have been caught because I was oblivious to that
Ah,
to that entire thing. And the reason why I'm oblivious to it is because I can tell you that I've only slept in the break room four
mm,
times. 4 times, and in those 4 times, I smelled the sex. Okay,
There
and
you go.
I've only gone to the break room like those 4 times because I was seriously tired, and there was nowhere else I could go. All
There you
right.
go.
Sometimes what I would do is I would actually book a conference room, go there, pretend I'm working, but I'm really asleep.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So if that's your fat breaker, I'm gonna ask you to ask me another one because it's not embarrassing me at all.
this is not meant to embarrass you. This fat breaker is different because this is embarrassing other people. If you know who these people are, don't let us know.
I don't know who these people are, and that's the thing.
we don't want.
See,
We
I
don't want.
want to know. I want to expose them, but the thing is, man, I don't. I don't know.
I don't
I
have a
want.
fat breaker that will embarrass you today. I'm in a. I'm in a good mood today. I'm in a good mood. I have two more.
Well, then there's fucking something wrong with you because you're the one who's an asshole about this all the time, and I actually keep expecting it. Now, what you're doing is you're effectively letting your buddy down.
You know what I'm doing? You know what I'm doing? I'm offering it to you and then taking it away, so that next time you want it more.
Oh, come on. That's classic psychological
Torture.
terrorism.
I don't know terrorism, but definitely torture. So yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. I have two more for you.
Okay, go ahead.
What site of psychs is this that somebody died? Somebody got into the office, pulled a gun, and shot somebody. I am sure you are.
I'm pretty sure it was Robinson Summit.
It is RS.
But I don't know if the employee was from Sykes or from another call
No,
center. There were like three.
I that's not the story I heard. So what I heard is this is turning into Marites time. Uh, what I heard is the female or the wife was having an affair with somebody or an office mate, and then the husband of the wife was able to gain entry into the building, um, go into the production floor, see the guy, pull out his gun, shoot him in the face. That's what I know. What
Wow.
do you know?
I if that was from Sykes, and I don't know. I think that was before the time I actually was able to go into RS. But I did hear about it. It was it
Yeah,
was
early
early or mid
2000s.
2000s.
Early 2000s, like
Early
2000,
2000s.
2001. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
that
I'm not sure. I came into Sykes in 2004.
you know why I heard that. I'm sure you know this guy. At the back of RS, there's this guy Mang Joey. He owns a Jolly Jeep.
I
And
know Mang
I
Joey.
so Mang Joey, his fried rice is amazing. So even if I work in the behind Ayala Triangle, I go all the way to RS just to get his fried rice because it's good and I love fried rice. So that's how I heard
Oh
that.
yeah, he gossiped that.
Yeah,
There were three Jolly Jeeps just right behind RS.
I know. I don't like the other two. And the one next to Mang Joey is actually from Malabon. I know where they live.
Oh, okay, there
It's
you
like
go.
two barangays away, but I don't like their no, I don't like their food. It's just normal carinderia food. Pass. So
Okay,
Mang Joey is he's the guy. He's the man. Last bit. This is actually something that happened in a company I worked for
okay.
back in 2011. And I don't think this happened in 2011. I think it happened like maybe 13, 14, 15. So this company is situated in a mall, excuse me, in North EDSA. If you know, you know.
Okay.
So of course there are sales ladies, right? And of
There are what?
course sales ladies.
Okay.
And of course there are guards,
Okay.
security guards, right? The center itself, they barely have people in the morning because most of the workforce is at night, right?
Okay.
So what happened? One afternoon, this sales lady is caught with a security guard having sex. Not even in the fire exit where there's some semblance of uh,
Privacy.
privacy, but right near the entrance of the goddamn call center. And funny thing is, somebody was videoing them, and the video was released. I have a copy of it.
Okay.
Have you heard this before?
Is that your fat breaker question? I have
Yeah.
not heard it before, but I
Why?
have seen. But I have seen a video of what you said of a
That's
security
probably it.
guard and a sales lady doing it while standing up.
Yep, that's it.
Shit.
Dude, I told you, I'm not gonna embarrass you this week. Maybe on Monday.
Okay.
Just so everyone knows, we're doing this on a Saturday, March 22nd, and I will be on leave for from March 24 to March 28. So I literally have nothing else to do but do this podcast or whatever thing we want to call this. And since Papa Bear is currently unemployed, he has all the time in the world. And I'm just not feeling it today. But I'm good with my fat breaker. Do you have a fat breaker
He's
for me?
actually torturing me because I was. It's like I was prepared to start lifting 500-pound weights, and now he only gave me like 10 pounds. I'm sort of disappointed.
Bro, this is a
That I'm
five
not being
pounder.
that I'm not being embarrassed today. You
This
know.
is a 5 pounder.
Okay. Here. So my fat breaker to you is I don't know if you would call this tame or whatnot, but I did see this. But you know what? But before I go to my fat breaker question, um, why don't I just throw your three breaker questions to you first, because I'm
Oh
also gonna
god.
answer my fat breaker question. Okay,
Okay,
but it's gonna
okay,
be a little bit different. All
okay,
right.
okay.
Was there any instance when you were in your in any of your previous offices that you worked where you either caught, saw, or heard about scandals involving inappropriate sexual relations while in the workplace?
Absolutely. My very first call center. There was a
Oh,
pretty
ACS.
yes ACS because they're
Oh
dead.
yeah.
Who cares? So there's this very pretty girl. She was probably a year or two younger than I was. I was 21. Um, every time she reports to the office, her account is locked.
Okay.
Like she can't take calls, despite trying to unlock it in our operations manager's office. They can never unlock it, ever, ever. And she is the only person in that account that can file a leave, despite being only 2 months into her tenure.
Wow.
In her 2 months before she filed a leave for 2 weeks, she was on the phones maybe 5 times total, or 5 days total. And she fucked up that days because her AHT is sky high. We have a lot of complaints that's coming from her, but you know, she was the
Was
baby
she
girl.
pretty?
She's very pretty.
Oh, there you go.
She was the baby girl of our OM.
She was the what?
She was the baby girl of our OM. Bata ni OM.
What?
Bata ni OM.
Pretty privilege gets you everywhere, people. It's too
It,
bad. You know what? If I think that we actually were women, we had boobs, we probably wouldn't be doing this shit, but selling our shit on OnlyFans or Alua.
uh,
Okay.
but here's the thing. Here's the I don't know if it's a twist or whatever. The OM's wife is one of the TLs.
This sounds like too good to be true in terms of true stories. This is pretty awesome. My God.
Bro, bro, the balls on that guy. I mean, if you look at the the trainee agent, I agree. I might, you know, put it all on the line for her. But
She
yeah,
was that
that's
pretty?
if I'm not mistaken, she was a former car show model.
Oh, okay. Man, to
Yeah,
hear you say that you're gonna put it all on the line for a woman like that, that's saying a lot.
yeah, coming from me, right?
Yeah, coming from you.
I'm not simping like you.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because simping like me, I mean, I'm pretty sure she's prettier than who I had before. So yeah, I'm probably a worse simp than you. Okay, but to hear it coming from you, you're still a
Yeah,
simp. So
yeah. So do with that what you will. What's your
huh?
next one?
What's my next question? No, that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
That
That's
was
it.
me throwing it back at you. But I do have a fat breaker question for you.
Let me have it.
Okay, because I was watching this. I was watching these, YouTube videos where OnlyFans models interview people on the street, whether it's a guy or a girl. Okay, how much would it take? Uh, and this is and I'm trying to put this delicately. Okay, um, turn your camera back on. You know, you can actually they can actually see whether your camera is off or on, right? Because when your camera turns off, I can only see myself on the screen. So I
I
want to
know.
see your face. All right, so
I
here.
had to pick something up. The cover
Okay,
for
so
my
here.
page
Here's
fell.
how much would it take? How much money would it take for you? And this was a question that was asked. How much money would it take for you to stroke another man's rod and consume it like a lollipop?
That depends. It depends on my situation, on my financial situation.
Okay,
Like
let's say that you're broke as fuck. How much would it take for you to do that?
in Philippine peso, probably not that much. Maybe 100 grand.
100,000 Philippine pesos
Yep.
is essentially $2,000.
Essentially, yeah, bro.
Oh God.
If
Okay.
if I'm like in a pinch, like a
Okay.
life or death situation, like I'll definitely do it. I don't care. Uh, it doesn't represent who I am, but the money will definitely help. Because I firmly believe those that say money doesn't buy happiness are lying or rich, because it definitely buys my happiness, and apparently some people will buy their happiness too. Somebody can give
Uh,
me that 100 grand, and I'll blow them. I'll do it. I don't care. How about you?
if I really needed it,
Yeah,
like right now, the
yeah,
fact that I'm fucking unemployed,
yeah.
huh?
Let's say June this year, you're still unemployed. What you doing?
Well, first of all, I'll be selling everything that I have. I have a lot of toys that I can still sell. But if
I
I
mean,
didn't really have a choice,
yeah.
I'll just fucking hang myself. I'm not about to do that.
Well, I'm very secure with my masculinity, and I am comfortable enough to admit that I would sell my soul if it means that I'll get money. That's my actual authentic outlook in life.
Okay.
However, if I am in a place that I will be if everything goes right, like no, I'll probably cut the dude's dick off or something.
Yeah.
Eh,
I actually hear what you mean. Our situations are different. You're actually looking after people. I don't.
yeah, yeah.
So in
Looking
essence, I
after a
can
lot of
understand that. But man, even if you offer me $1 billion, $2 billion, I wouldn't do that. It's not gonna pay for any trauma that I would experience or nightmares that I would wake up to. I'd
That's
really
very
rather
true.
die of diabetes rather than do that. Or maybe I can just sell one of my kidneys. I'm not even sure if my kidneys work because of my diabetes.
Exactly. I don't think anybody's buying that, bro. I don't think anybody's buying that.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'd cut off my other leg than do that. Seriously, no, no, it's not. It's Oh God, no.
So,
Thinking about
uh,
it is already making me regret asking you for it because I'm already picturing you fucking doing it.
bro, why are you picturing it? Stop picturing it. I'm not a 304.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, you admitting to just doing that just already made you a 304 because if a certain amount of money can actually make you do that because you had to, essentially you kind of are.
Well, I haven't done it yet, so I'm not a 304 yet.
You're not
Once
yet.
once I've
Okay.
once
So
I've
yeah,
done it,
but
then
oh
I am.
yeah. So you potentially could be if there is
Bro,
a need.
bro, I will do anything for money. And
And
I'm saying anything.
as your friend, I'll tell you this: if you did do that, I wouldn't judge you. You know what? I wouldn't judge you at all. You're still my bro.
I
Okay,
don't.
but you will not be able to stop me from calling you, "Hey, 304."
Oh, for sure.
Every day, every time we
For
speak.
sure, for sure. And that's the thing. I don't really care if I'm judged by what I do, because my loved ones will struggle and die. That's nothing. That's not in my head. I have been a provider for all of my life, and if that's what it takes to provide more for them, I'll be happy to do it. Give me that chapstick.
I'll give you that. Fuck you.
I know you're gonna crack. I know you're gonna crack.
Oh my god.
I knew you were gonna.
I want to say so many things right now. I want to
Bro,
say so many things. I want to say, are you gonna use maple syrup or honey?
dude, if I'm gonna be paid enough, there ain't not gonna be need for any maple syrup or honey. I'ma slop that thing. I'm gonna hot
Oh
squat that shit.
my god.
you, you're turning red.
Hey, listeners, you've heard it. You can send him an email or
bro,
a message
bro,
and offer him.
bro.
I'm fucking unemployed right now, so no, not me. No, I probably need the money more than him, but no, I'm good.
Bro,
I'm
the
good.
Glock,
Oh,
Glock 3000 with two
oh
hands,
God.
dude.
Stop it. Oh.
you, you said the fat breakers should embarrass you. Did I embarrass you enough? And I'm
I
not
thought it
even
would
trying.
embarrass you, but now it's embarrassing me for
Exactly,
asking
to
that stupid
embarrass you.
fucking question.
So,
Oh,
and I'm not.
motherfucker.
I wasn't even trying.
Oh, God. Before we continue, I think it's imperative that we actually explain what a 304 is because apparently I found out that not a lot of people know what it means. Okay, so
Let
I
him
think
have it.
this would be a good segue to explain what a 304 is. A 304 is a number. You type it in an old style calculator like Psycho, all right? 304, you turn it upside down. What does it say? Okay, well, it speaks of a farming tool that you use to pull out
You
weeds.
do, you do. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's synonymous. It's a synonym. It's a synonym. Let's just say it out loud. It's a synonym to the word hooker or prostitute. You're a hoe, a 304. Okay, and for you listeners,
Only for the right price.
yes, only for the right price. For you listeners, I am actually posting several links to 3 songs that I wrote from my channel about what a 304 is. Okay. You're a 304. Shucks, another 304. And really? More 304s? Okay. So it's actually an honest, those are actually songs that I created while watching YouTube videos of women exposing themselves on camera. And when I say exposing, I'm not saying they're exposing their private parts, but they're literally telling people about some of the sickening things that they did for money. Okay. Or even girlfriends that cheated on their exes just because it's spring break or it's their whole phase. All right.
Isn't
Oh
that a shame?
God, I mean, we really should have an episode about that.
I think we
Okay,
will.
so
I
that's
think we
just
will.
an explanation of what a 304 is. So, oh God, still thinking about you, man.
Stop thinking about it. Stop fantasizing or start
Not
saving.
fantasizing, but I'm sicking about it because you're my bro, and just thinking about it. Oh, crap.
Should we move on to our last?
Please, yes, do help me end this misery. God damn,
Oh
motherfucker.
my god. So, our last group, or the last group of trainees I want to talk about are the hoppers. What are
Okay,
hoppers? As I explained earlier in the episode, these are people that are hired in a company and abruptly, usually via AWOL, leaves the company and join another company, and the cycle goes on and on and on and on.
oh
I
yes.
know somebody. Uh, Let me see how many years. 6 years. So this dude was in 22 companies in 6 years.
Whoa.
Yep. He literally did the rounds in every call center in Metro Manila, almost every call center in Metro Manila. 22 call centers in 6 years. That's in his SSS. I counted.
You saw that in his SSS?
Dude, he gave it to me. He is very proud of it.
Oh, okay, fine.
Well, he
Because
doesn't really need to work. He just does it for just for the giggles, because dude is loaded.
okay.
So he does this and whatever, and he's now running his own company.
What? So he did that as like market research for his own company?
I'm not sure because he deals with tires. I don't know how much um market research you're gonna get with
Oh, maybe he
tire
made
company.
some maybe he made some contacts or something.
I highly doubt that, because he told me he doesn't really have time to make friends. And once the training is over, he literally doesn't attend the either the mock call or whatever. He doesn't even care if he gets his salary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a specific that's a specific type of hopper. Well, why don't you tell me about the concept of hopping and why people do it? But excluding the fact that they're loaded and that they don't need money. Let's say that
Well,
somebody needs money, but why do they keep hopping? Tell me that.
I can actually tell
Because
you
I
about that.
know I at least have a perception of what I know why they do it, but I'd like to hear yours.
Uh, I can tell you more about it because I do consider myself a hopper as well.
Okay.
I do hop from job to job. Uh, my number one reason is money.
Okay.
Just to give you a firm concept. Uh, Back in this is when I really started. Back in 2014, I was making 14,000 pesos as my basic salary.
Okay.
14,000. And then I was literally pirated by a company in Taguig. All I had to do was final interview, and I start the following Monday.
Okay.
I had, or what was my basic salary? 25,000 as my basic
Okay.
salary. And then I went to what company? A company in Cubao that was absorbed by the largest BPO here in the Philippines. I was offered 27 as my 26 as my basic salary. And then I was once again pirated by one of the big four banks here in the Philippines. This one is located in McKinley Hill. If you know, you know. Uh, how much was my offer? I think 28 was my basic salary. I'm not
Okay.
saying the allowance, because the allowance are significant. It's at always almost always at least 10K.
Okay.
So basic might be so-so, especially nowadays, but back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, those are like gigantic basic salary already.
Uh-huh.
Now, um, after that, I was tired of hopping, uh, and I retired from hopping. I went and worked for a company. Technically, I worked for them for, hold on. Technically, I worked for them for 4 years. But 2 years of that is um like full time employment. 2 years is contractual employment. This is when I became OE. And then my basic salary there is actually 23,000. But since it's work from home, I don't really care. And then I was hired in the company that Papa Bear and I was hired together at the same time. My basic there was 37.5. And then
Oh
now,
wow, you just exposed my salary too.
oh, I don't know if that's your salary. I'm not saying that's your salary. Are
Same.
you saying that? There you go. Well, I know, but I was trying to give you a way out. But I'm just talking about my salary. So my current job pays 68,000 pesos salary, basic, and my future job, if Vermark, shout out to Vermark, um, gets their heads out of their asses. But shout out to you, respectfully. I'll get significantly more, a 97% increase. Y'all do the math. So,
Okay.
um, the only reason why I do the hopping is because of the money. However, if I do get this job, I will again retire from hopping because I have a plan. Uh, it's a half a decade plan, 5 year plan. If this plan is accomplished, I will be living my best life. But as of now, um, if I do get it, hopefully by next week I have a reply. Yeah, a 97% increase, and that's the
Okay.
only reason I do it.
Okay. Here, you're still you're still you're still referring to uh another specific type of hopper. So I'm gonna segue towards my perception and the facts that I know about people who hop. Okay.
All right, let me hear
Um,
it.
I myself am not a hopper because I've been with Sykes for 14 years, right? And I thought it was the most wonderful place to be until my very last year where I was just crapped out. All right,
Until
but
it wasn't.
I still appreciate the company. I made a lot of friends there. They're still wonderful people. The people are wonderful. Okay, it's just that the leadership. mm. Anyway, so let's just say from what I know about people who hop. Here's the thing. When you're in training, all right, when you're still a trainee, it's all about fun and games. Why? You meet a lot of new people, you meet a lot of new faces. Essentially, you have to put in the work, okay, but it's not going to be as difficult or um as monotonous as actually working itself. Imagine yourself in a 9 to 5 and you're just taking calls for like 8 hours a day. 9 hour shift taking calls 7.5 hours a day rather. So you have an hour lunch and two breaks. 7.5 hours you're expected to take calls. When you're in training, when you're a trainee, it's very dynamic, right? So I can understand why that some people will only stay through training because they're just too lazy to, or they don't want to experience the actual grind. Okay, that's number one. Why? Because allow me to give you another perspective on this. Let's say you hop from one job to one job. Okay, from one call center to one call center. You get trained, and by the end of let's say 5 companies in like let's say 5 months, you have effectively been trained by 5 companies. All right, and there's a possibility that after 5 companies, 5 trainings that you attended, that you might actually have gotten good. Okay. And you may have increased your skill level, maybe not a significant degree, but just a little degree to actually be to apply for another position or another call center where, you might be put into a premium account. All right. So one aspect of that is that you're lazy to go to the actual work itself. Number two, you're actually improving your skill level. And number three, this is a fact, by the way, because when you sign that job offer, you're given a specific amount of days to provide your documents. All right, and usually it will extend towards you have to provide certain documents before the first 60 for the first 60 days of your start in the company, like production or whatever, or like within 60 days after signing the job offer, and that offers you up to actually receive a salary while you're in training. And that depends, because training can either be 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on the program, at least from my perspective, at least from several accounts perspective and
For
sites.
2 days.
Okay, or 2 days. But here's the thing: you attend training, it's all fun, all right? And then I actually found out that in another account where the training is significantly longer, the training is actually 2 months, all right? The training is 2 months. It's really that stringent. All right. There have been several individuals that have gone through those first 2 months of training, or at least maybe a month and a half of training. They received like a month and a half worth of salary, which is significant, and then they just disappear, right? And then they never submitted any of those requirements. They never submitted any of the finalizing documents. Let's say NBI, whatever report. Some even some accounts even ask for police report, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what happens is that um, uh, they do a background check after this individual left, and then they find out, like uh, what Chrissy Papa said, that, oh wow, this person just went through like 3 companies in 2 months or something like that. All right. Or, oh wow, we found out this person actually has a warrant for her arrest, or this person is actually a scammer, etc. And that has happened. I've actually been in talks with several managers about that, about certain people who were, lying about their certain status. And that's another reason. And that's actually why for some accounts in Sykes back then, it was such a high profile account that, believe it or not, it was such high profile that the screening process was so stringent that you cannot enter it. That if they found something, okay, like something, and I'm not gonna say which company helped them do background checks, but if they find something, all right, that's liable to make you at risk, they will not hesitate to just say, you're not you're not you're not the person we're looking for right now, even though you're still in training. We're not the person we're looking at right now, and okay, you're fired or something. We're going to transfer you somewhere else. So those are the facts. Okay, part of it is a perception of mine when it comes to receiving paid training. Like, we pay you to go to training, so to improve your skill set, and then maybe down the line you can use it. Or the fact that training is fun and it's monotonous when you get to work, because obviously, brother, that's actually a fact. Like, I went through it. Training was fun. Then when I got to work, man, this is boring as hell. Right. But I
Yeah,
stayed
not
with
so
it for
much.
2.5 years before I got promoted. Or not 2.5 years, rather 19 months. So yeah. So those call center hoppers, um, I don't know how to subjectively quantify what kind of people they are. I mean, if they're doing it because they need money, who am I to judge? Because maybe in the long run, if they stayed longer, the company will find out about their history, that they actually have a warrant, a police record that would disqualify them from working. I mean, that's fine, I guess. I mean, that's up to them. It's just that it's not, and it's not like it's leaving a bad light on the company itself. But if you're a hopper, just wanting to hop around because you don't have it in any direction, and maybe I would just advise you to stick it out with one company, because and here's the thing. And I don't want to sound judgmental, okay, brother, but in a sense I can actually see your point. You go where the money is, okay? But what happens when you've gone through like several companies or several jobs, and you're not satisfied, would you ever be satisfied?
It's not a, for me. I'd like to answer this.
Yeah.
Eh, for me, it's not a question of satisfaction, because that's not my passion. Like
Okay.
what I do for work is not my passion. Because my passion is teaching. I would like to teach near adults
Same.
to how they navigate the adulting
Mhm.
world, how taxes work, how to open a bank account, how to write a check, things like that.
There you go.
Understanding taxes, uh, knowing your rights as an employee. Those are my principles and those are my passion. I'm doing this because I need the money. So, in terms of job satisfaction, I'm never gonna get that. I have accepted that a long time ago,
Mhm.
and the only reason why I still do what I do is because I need the money, and this money um, involves me changing jobs. However,
Okay.
there does come a point where it's gonna be hard to justify your jumps, and I feel like that's where I am now. Um, I told you that's why I have a 5-year plan. So the 5-year plan is to stick it out with the or my future employer and stay there for as long as I can.
Mhm.
And then if I still love what I do, if I'm still okay with what I do, then I'll just stick to it. Because where else can you find a company that offers fully remote work, full time, with full benefits, with HMO and everything, and they'll send you um, a laptop or equipment, and they're gonna pay you X amount of money. I have never heard of a company like this before. And just to make
Obviously,
it
you have
clear,
now.
I
So
have now, but before, but right now, um, it is a dream job for almost everyone, maybe including me, because this is a job, it's a career, not a passion.
Mhm.
So my passion, my satisfaction, I get it from somewhere else, but now I do with something, what I do best professionally, and that is, train, uh, manage projects, and the likes. That's why when we need a trainer, because I know we will, your ass is the first one on my list. I don't care where you're working at that time. You apply for this
well,
goddamn
there
job.
you go. We'll see.
We will. If I have to drag your ass from wherever you're living, I'm not gonna say, no dogs. If I have to drag your ass from your bed, uh, and stick your ass in in your computer chair right now, I will do that. Just to get you to apply to this goddamn job. But
Well,
yes,
that may be a little bit more difficult than you know because I'm heavy, and with your bad hip, it
that
may take
is.
you like a couple of hours to
Uh,
drag me from my bed to my computer, which is roughly 10 feet away from each
I
other.
know, I know. It's like 10 feet away. But uh, don't underestimate uh, the strength of a pissed off dude.
Pissed off.
Especially don't
Yeah, I'm not even sure my
understand
door can
hustle.
hold you if you actually kicked it down. So yeah, that may be that may be something that would definitely get me thinking because I don't want my door kicked down. So
I'm not gonna kick your door down. You know what I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna run through it.
oh
I'm
yeah, see
gonna
there
use
you go.
all of my potential energy and my mass to knock that goddamn door down. So think about
I'm thinking about it. Okay.
it.
Yeah, you heard that right, listeners. If I don't apply, okay, he's probably gonna be very violent with my surroundings.
I will. uh, and you have to pay for that. But if you get this job, then you'll have the money to pay for it.
We'll
However,
see.
but having said all of that, this brings an end to a very long discussion about trainees, uh, and the fat breaker with Papa Bear. Stop imagining it.
Fuck you.
The Rock 3000, two hands.
Oh god. So I'm probably gonna have nightmares, you know. God damn it.
Good. You wanted it, you got it. But I will think about a good fat breaker next time.
All right.
I'm very chill today.
Okay. I'm glad
But
you're chill.
next time I may not be chill. However,
We'll see about that.
that
Okay.
that brings an end to our session today. Thank you everyone for listening, watching, for going through this shit with us. We appreciate it very much. We hope to see you at the next episode. Keep it tight.
Alrighty. And this is Chrissy Papa and Papa Bear from the Chrissy Papa Bear Show. Two fat Filipinos talking shit, saying good night.
Ciao.